Won't stop the beat and go.
Good afternoon, and welcome to my chambers at the 3rd District Court of Appeal. This is where I spend my days, so I spend a great deal of time getting to know the issues, understanding the statutes and the case law, and writing the opinions. It's because I recognize that the opinion itself not only will allow the litigants to know why the court ruled the way it ruled, but also it gives direction to judges and lawyers on future cases and how to rule and how to advise their clients in their everyday lives. My path was a little different, and basically because of my upbringing. When I was 3 years old, my mother died from a brain tumor, and I was raised in an abusive household. So I learned at a very early age to be strong and to be fiercely protective of my brothers. And from that experience, I learned to have courage and commitment and a strong work ethic and empathy for other people. When I graduated law school, I went to work for the Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office under Janet Reno, and there I prosecuted drunk drivers, violent and repeat offenders. I loved my job at the State Attorney's Office, and I found what I did to be so fulfilling and rewarding, and I probably would have stayed there throughout my career, but unfortunately, the more that I practiced in the court, the more I became frustrated and disillusioned with some of the judges I practiced before. I got the impression that some of these judges treated their cases as though they were mere files to be closed as quickly as possible, instead of recognizing that those cases represented real people with real lives, and that the decisions that court was making was going to impact not only their lives, but the community itself. And so things started to kind of lead me down to the path to thinking that maybe I should run for a judge and try to bring about a greater consciousness of the role of a judge. And probably the case that put me over the brink and caused me to make that final decision was a sexual battery case that I handled. It was a sexual battery that had been committed against a woman. And she was a very quiet, shy, unassuming woman, a housewife, a mother. And she had befriended this woman. And it later turned out that this woman was a man, and he sexually assaulted her. Well, as you can imagine, the media was all over that story and that case. And this poor woman, who was very quiet and very shy and withdrawn, would go to the grocery store, and there her picture would be on the front page of some tabloid magazine. And the speculation would be, would she testify? And her credibility was called into question because it was a very bizarre scenario. Well, when it got to the time of the trial, the media was in a frenzy, and she was growing even more concerned day by day. And during the middle of the trial, she had to be hospitalized and was fearful about testifying. I went to see her, and after we talked, I convinced her that she would never be able to move on with her life until she came to court and told her side of the story. So somehow she dug deep inside of herself and came to court and testified. She was on that stand for 2 solid days. The cross-examination was unkind and blistering, but the jury saw the truth and convicted the defendant. But this is not about what happened to the defendant, but what happened afterwards. We went to sentencing, and the victim came and was prepared to testify about the humiliation and the trauma that she suffered at the hands of the defendant. But when it came to be our turn to speak, the judge immediately cut us off and told us that he was ready to rule on sentencing and did not want to hear from us. The sentence that the judge imposed was no sentence whatsoever. No jail time, no probation, no rehabilitation, no treatment, not even a forced apology to the victim for what this man had put her through. When I looked over to my right, I saw that the victim had fainted dead away on the courtroom floor. And when we revived her, she looked up at the judge, and I swear to God, with a tear in her eye, she looked at him and said, you know, why did I go through all of this? And he simply shrugged and said, gee, I don't know. And it was that gee, I don't know that so angered me and that convinced me to give up the job that I love to actually run for a circuit court judge position. The amazing opportunities each of us has to influence the lives of others. And when we do that, it so enriches our own lives. I've been very fortunate to have been given so many wonderful opportunities to not only do things that I enjoy doing and which are meaningful to me, but I've been given the opportunity to impact other people's lives, and that's been a very important aspect of my career for me. I'm also very humbled of all of the people who have entrusted in me the responsibilities and duties that I carry out on a daily basis. So in essence, I want to thank everyone who has given me these opportunities. And I look forward to hearing about the other honorees and the wonderful contributions that they have also made to this community. Thank you so much for having me here today, and I look forward to meeting all of you. Thank you.